Take a deep breath. Good. Now exhale. Take another deep breath, but bigger than before. Hold it. Now slay the demon behind you! Every shonen anime that involves any kind of combat has particular techniques that the characters are using. And if you're big enough fans, you probably tried some of them in real life. I'm looking at you, Dragon Ball fans. As you already know, breathing styles are the techniques used by demon slayers to gain an advantage on the entities called demons. I guess that when you face an inhuman monster that tries to eat your internal organs, all you need to do is breathe.
Breathe air!
In order to use breathing styles, you first need to master total concentration breathing. This is an esoteric breathing technique practiced and taught by members of the Demon Slayer Corps and are used in combat to defeat the demons. But breathing styles wasn't always plural. Before the legendary Yoriichi, demon slayers were just very skilled swordsmen trying to save their fellow man from being eaten. It's only after Yoriichi unsuccessfully tried to teach sun breathing to the Corps were the derivatives invented. The original breathing styles mimic a certain element of nature: fire, water, thunder, rock, and wind, and replicate it with the user's movements, techniques, and abilities. The weapon of choice for each slayer also needs to match their breathing in order for them to fight efficiently, although most of them use a katana. New breathing styles are always being created to suit a demon slayer's combat needs, which results in new weapons being utilized in demon hunting like flails and whips. Such breathing styles embody a bigger variety of concepts, like animals, plants, and emotions. When utilizing a breathing style, users automatically visualize themselves manipulating the subject of their style, making it seem as if they're using magic. Though those that are less apt and proficient in their style will visualize less of it than one who is. And all of this just for breathing a certain way? Jeez. It is possible to mix different breathing styles if the user can't master one particular breathing style alone. This is to use stronger aspects of different styles to compensate. Tanjiro, realizing that he couldn't master water breathing like Giyu Tomioka, nor could he handle the strain of Hinokami Kagura, showed to be able to combine the two techniques together to be able to have stronger strikes than when using water breathing alone. He's also able to move for longer periods of time than if he used Hinokami Kagura alone. He did this to save Hinatsuru from Gyutaro, and later used it once again during the Infinity Castle arc to slay dozens of demons. Like I mentioned before, in order to use breathing techniques, the user needs to master total concentration breathing. It's an advanced and esoteric breathing technique where a user inhales the maximum amount of oxygen within a specific breath pattern to raise their physical and mental prowess to their utmost limits. The effects include a plethora of enhanced physical and mental abilities, like superhuman physical characteristics, i.e. strength, speed, stamina, durability, and agility, faster thought processes, maximizing concentration, and hyper-information processing. At a more advanced level, total concentration is also capable of clotting wounds from severe injuries and slowing down the circulation of poison in the bloodstream. In short, breathing correctly turns you into Superman. Now, you thought total concentration breathing was insane. Meet
Total concentration breathing constant.
Who names this stuff anyway? This enhanced form is a total concentration breathing state performed all the time, even while the user is asleep. These guys are controlling their breaths while they're asleep, and I can barely get up for work with 1,000 alarm clocks. Anyway, there's an immense difference in strength, speed, and stamina between someone who can maintain total concentration breathing at all times and someone who can't. Learning to maintain a constant state of total concentration breathing requires tremendous effort, though the skill itself is noted to be quite elementary despite the required effort. The training process involves blowing into a special type of super durable gourd. The objective is to blow into the gourd with enough strength to make it break apart. As training progresses, the gourd is replaced by larger and larger variations of the same type. The largest known gourd is about the size of a chair. The hierarchy of the breathing style goes like this. Sun is the first one, of course, invented by the legendary Yoriichi. If you want to learn more about sun breathing, click on the video that pops up on the screen. The first derivative of this is water breathing. Water breathing is a breathing style that mimics water, specifically the flow, flexibility, and adaptability of the liquid, and replicates it. Most, if not all, known techniques involve the user bending their body, arm, and weapon in a fluid motion to match the movements of rushing or flowing water. Users also visualize themselves seemingly creating and manipulating water when unleashing their techniques. It's said to be the most common breathing style among demon slayers due to being the easiest to learn for beginners. A known cultivator of water breathing in the Demon Slayer Corps is Sakonji Urokodaki, although there are other cultivators as well. Known users are Sakonji Urokodaki, Gyu Tomioka, Murata, Sabito, Tanjiro Kamado, Aoi Kanzaki, and Makomo. Out of water breathing came two different derivatives, and another derivative from each. Are you getting a headache yet? The first derivative is serpent breathing. Serpent breathing is a breathing style that mimics snakes. The attacks are not direct and constantly meander, which can ultimately strike anywhere. Users of serpent breathing also visualize themselves seemingly manifesting white serpents that accompany them when unleashing techniques. Since this technique is currently only known to be utilized by Obanai Iguro, it can only be used with a twisted blade that's similar in appearance to an Indonesian kris sword, with the sword's shape modeled into the bodily structure of a snake. The second one is flower breathing. Flower breathing is a breathing style that mimics flowers and fruits and replicates them with the user's movements, techniques, and abilities. Most, if not all, known techniques and forms are a combination of graceful attacks that focus on agility. This breathing style also enhances and utilizes one's vision, albeit at the possible cost of their eyesight. Users of flower breathing can visualize themselves seemingly creating and manipulating flowers when unleashing techniques. Known users are Kanai Kocho and Kanao Tsuyuri. Out of flower breathing comes insect breathing. Insect breathing is a breathing style that mimics insects, specifically their lethal stings and movements. Mostly, the forms include stabbing, thrusting, and making shallow cuts with a specially coated sword to inflict multiple wounds on the target in order to inject various lethal wisteria-based poisons into them. Users of insect breathing also visualize themselves seemingly manifesting insects, mainly butterflies, when unleashing techniques. This breathing style is the personal creation of Shinobu Kocho, who designed it to compensate for her lack of physical strength to behead a demon. Hence, her sword style can only be utilized by her, and only using a unique katana with a needle-like tip resembling an insect stinger in appearance and function. The stinger is designed for injection of wisteria poison into demons. Are you still with me? Good, let's continue. The next main derivative is fire breathing. Fire breathing is a breathing style that mimics flames, and the forms involve extremely powerful singular attacks which burn their opponents, with most attacks being initiated from a high stance. Users of flame breathing visualize themselves seemingly creating and manipulating fire when unleashing it. Known users are Shinjiro Rengoku, Hyojiro Rengoku, and Mitsuri Kanroji, but she's not using flame breathing anymore. Out of flame breathing came love breathing. Love breathing is a breathing style that's based on the emotion of love. Most, if not all, known techniques form a combination of mid to long-ranged whip-like attacks that utilize the user's flexibility, dexterity, agility, and speed. This breathing style is the personal creation of Mitsuri Kanroji, made by altering the flame breathing she learned from Kyojuro Rengoku to suit her needs. It takes advantage of her body's unique muscle density, which grants her inhuman strength without making her physically bulky, to deliver fast and powerful blows while moving with incredible flexibility and agility. As it relies on her body's special composition, it's a style only she can use. It can also be assumed that this breathing style is most effective with a whip-like katana. However, a regular one can also be used. The next direct variant from sun breathing is thunder breathing. Thunder breathing is a breathing style that mimics lightning, specifically swift strikes and movements akin to lightning ripping through the sky, and replicates it with the user's movements, techniques, and abilities. The techniques and forms involve utilizing blinding speeds and immensely fast attacks to overwhelm the enemy in an instant. Users of thunder breathing visualize themselves seemingly creating and manipulating lightning and electricity when unleashing techniques. It's been remarked by Zenitsu Agatsuma that this breathing style focuses on channeling strength into the user's legs and maximizing the output of every single muscle and blood vessel in them. Users also mimic lightning to such high fidelity that they cause the air to vibrate. They then unleash a technique and create immensely loud sounds akin to thunder with their mere footsteps. This breathing style is also very reminiscent of a swordsmanship style practiced and utilized in real life known as Raijutsu, a famous quick-draw sword technique. Known users are Jigoro Kuwajima, Kaigaku, and Zenitsu Agatsuma. Out of thunder breathing came sound breathing. Sound breathing is a breathing style that mimics sound, specifically its disorientation and loudness. The user uses extremely fast movements similar to how fast sound travels, as well as the user's sense of hearing. The only known user, Tengen Uzui, uses a technique developed using his superhuman sense of hearing called musical score which involves Tengen reading his opponent's movements by deconstructing them into sounds and analyzing the rhythm of their movements. Through this, he's able to take advantage of their openings to much greater effect by striking in a way similar to making the beat into a song. In conjunction with this, he uses small but powerful anti-demon bombs that are capable of damaging the bodies of upper-rank demons. Since this combat style was created by Tengen, it can only be used with a specific set of weaponry, which is 2 gigantic nunchuck-like Nichiren cleavers, with each having a notch in the sharp ends of their blades and are held together at the hilt by a metal chain. His swords are said to have a large amount of explosive power, and it's stated that, until Tengen's fight with Upper Rank 6, no one had ever survived a blow from them. I mean, a guy like him hitting you with these giant swords? Come on, who can survive that? The next main derivative is stone breathing. Stone breathing is a breathing style that mimics earth and stone and replicates it with the user's movements, techniques, and abilities. The forms utilize the ground beneath the user and the vast surroundings to generate powerful and sturdy attacks that specialize in both offense and defense. The breathing style was originally created by one of Yoriichi Tsugekuni's students, who attempted to learn sun breathing, but due to them not being as innately powerful as him, were unable to master it, and instead learned an alternative personalized breathing style that focused specifically on their strengths and weaknesses, eventually branching out completely and becoming stone breathing. This breathing style is only used by Guillaume Himejima, and it can be assumed that stone breathing can only be used with a flail and/or axe. However, in Kokushibo's flashback, the progenitor of stone breathing is seen wielding a giant kusarigama-like weapon. The last main derivative is wind breathing. Wind breathing is a breathing style that mimics wind, specifically powerful torrents of air and whirlwinds. Most, if not all, known techniques and forms involve purely offensive attacks, most of which utilize rotating movements to generate swift whirlwind-like slashes that greatly increase the wielder's striking range, or utilizing the air around them to deliver sharp, sickle-shaped attacks. Users of wind breathing also visualize themselves seemingly creating and manipulating wind when unleashing techniques. This breathing style is also extremely reminiscent of the real-life swordsmanship style Jigen Ryu, a sword-wielding style that emphasizes on the opening strike and high stances. Wind breathing style has 2 derivatives. The first is mist breathing, which mimics mist, specifically the obscurity of mist. The techniques and forms involve swift strikes and movements performed in a unique pattern that obscures the opponent's senses and surroundings, as if the battlefield were enveloped in mist. Users of mist breathing also visualize themselves seemingly creating and manipulating mist when unleashing techniques. Mist breathing's only known user, Muichiro Tokido, wears baggy clothing that covers his arms and legs in order to obscure his movements. It can be assumed that most other users would also have to don clothing that hide their limbs from the enemy in order to fully maximize the potential of this breathing style. The second derivative of wind breathing is beast breathing. Beast breathing is a breathing style that mimics wild animals, specifically their unpredictable, ferocious, and wild nature, including its movements, attacks, and senses. Most, if not all, forms are simple yet straightforward and wild, unpredictable, and animalistic movements and attacks, although one of them utilizes the powerful sense of touch to replicate an animal's primal senses. Users of beast breathing also visualize themselves seemingly manifesting the fangs and claw slashes of a wild animal. Since this breathing style is personally created and self-taught by Inosuke Hashibira after living in the mountains and fighting for survival, it can be assumed that it can only be utilized by someone with dual Nichiren katanas and an extremely acute sense of touch. The last breathing technique on our list is moon breathing, created by Michikatsu Tsugekuni, Yoriichi's brother, because he couldn't master sun breathing. After he became a demon, he improved this breathing style using his blood demon art, which he used to create dozens of tangible crescent moons from his sword, each of them as sharp as blades, making this breathing style one of the most powerful and deadly in the series. That's all for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you do, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you want to get something off your chest. Thanks for watching, and take care.